So, welcome back to my channel. We are doing something a bit different today. I didn't do a 20 questions for myself at Chicago and then thought it was a super fun idea. So, Deb has agreed to come back onto the channel and ask me 20 questions plus whatever else she feels like. So, this shall be fun.
I'm back. It's our international interview.
Internet.
Okay, number one. Are you ready?
I am.
When I say fountain pen, what do you think of?
Quaco Sport.
How did you get into pens?
I was fired from a design job and was bored out of my mind, and Ferrisville Press was looking for Jubilee members, and I applied, not feeling qualified, and I got a spot, and then I went, maybe I should buy a fountain pen and see what they're like. Only to discover that we also had a whole bunch of fountain pens in the house that were my grandparents and great-grandparents, and so I got to inherit a whole bunch of really nice vintage pens as soon as I expressed an interest in them, and so I get to have a pretty cool collection that started out in a really odd way.
That's amazing and so Canadian.
Yeah,
I love that it was Fairfield Press because,
yes.
it had to be.
It had to
What
be.
was your first pen?
A Parker 21 in red from Facebook Marketplace.
Ooh, very nice. What is your current daily driver?
Quaco Sport in a medium nib with mellow blue. Sorry, a Quaco Sport medium nib mellow blue with dusk and bloom from Ferrisville Press in it.
Blue on blue. I love it.
Blue on blue. Matt,
So what is your favorite ink?
Madame Mulberry from Ferrisville Press.
Good choice. Favorite brand?
It goes back and forth between Ferrisville Press and Mont Blanc. I really like the Mont Blanc.
Okay.
Got a
But
thing.
Ferris wheel press made it all happen, so
Like, don't have a small amount of them. They're here, they're everywhere.
you could put Ferris wheel press ink in a Mont Blanc thing. You could
I,
combine.
yeah,
You could have more than one favorite brand.
I don't have a Mont Blanc pen, but I have Mont Blanc ink, and I really like their ink.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday. Vintage or modern?
Vintage nibs, but modern pens.
Ooh, I like that answer. Do you swatch all of your inks?
Yes.
Do you daily drive the same ink
What?
and pen all the time, or do you swap it up?
I would say that there are a couple pens that always stay the same.
Okay.
So there are two Quaco Sports that are always in my rotation. Other than that, though, I switch it up and sort of rotate through my pen collection with what I feel like. For a while before Chicago, one of the pens I was daily driving was my great grandfather's from 1946. Like, I just sort of use whatever I feel like at the time. And so my inked videos tend to be pretty chaotic because I'm never really quite sure what I want to use or what inks I want to use. But there are some pens that just are continuously inked.
Well, and you have a lot of ink to choose from, so you have to, you have to switch it up sometimes so you can use them. Do you swatch? I know the answer to this question. Do you swatch all your nibs in a way that you can search through them when choosing a pen?
I do. And I discovered I'm not the only weird one because there were other people during 20 questions that did it too.
I know. Okay, so can I add the how do you do it? Because I don't.
So I just did a video on this. I have post Chicago, I have them in a Colodex, and so
Okay.
or a Colo ring dipper set. The pen nib is on the front with the size and then just a scribble, and then the pen style and color is on the back so that I know what pen it's from. This is what goes in my purse. And then on the go, when I'm at home, I use my Rolodex and have, let's just grab a card, the nib size, the pen, and the brand.
Nice.
And then it's sorted by nib size. So the ring is sorted by brand and my Rolodex is sorted by nib size.
Okay. That is That's a good system. I'm taking notes here. What is a pin you wish you could see in person?
A Yarda led the Victorian. Annabelle had
Yes.
one on her story this week, and it made me realize how much I actually really wanna see one.
I mean, it's gotta you'll make it happen. I have full confidence.
I know
What is your grail?
I know
Is that your grail pin?
it's hard to answer because I had the Visconti Homo sapien as, like, a potential grail, and then I held one at Chicago, and I went, "Nah, I don't actually like it that much." And that's the thing with the brain injury, like, I can be really excited about something, but, like, as soon as I hold it, I can go, "Nah, I don't actually need it. I'm okay." And so it could be one of those things that I see in person, I get to hold, and I'm like, "Meh, whatever. It's cool, but I'm okay."
It'll be fun to see what you pick though.
Yeah,
It'll exist.
it'll exist. I
Um,
saw a couple Bohems at Chicago, and they're so far out of my price range, but they're so pretty. And so as like a someday at some point, I would love one of those, but for now, I'm pretty happy with where the collection is because I use
okay,
everything. I don't like having stuff I'm not using.
I agree with you. I mean, I know some people collect things and don't even use them, but I like using my collection too.
Like, I think the only inks that haven't gone in pens are inks that I bought at Chicago because I haven't done an inks video since Chicago. And even then,
But
some of them in
they
pens.
will go in.
They will
It
go,
will happen.
and some of them have been in pens, just not all of them.
Right. I've seen some. You've shown some on your channel, and I know you got those in Chicago because I was there. What is your pen recommendation for a beginner?
Waco Sport.
I knew you were gonna say that. And your ink recommendation for a beginner?
I'm gonna take a note from the Atlas boys and say whatever ink makes you happy. Honestly,
That was me.
was that
You're
you?
stealing mine.
Okay,
I
you said it
support
was
it.
the Atlas boys. Okay, 3 people all
Maybe
gave the same
I
answer.
think it's too.
One
Okay.
one of
See?
one of them said Waterman, and then the other one said whatever ink makes you happy. So, really, like, I have a huge collection of inks from a whole bunch of brands, and at the end of the day, most are pretty similar. People
You
will
know what? Honestly,
yeah,
Waterman's a solid recommendation too.
yeah. People will complain
It's that was my first bottle of ink.
Yeah, people will complain about inks that dry too quickly or, like, are too wet, and but, like, everyone's tastes are different. I like inks that dry really fast so that I don't smudge my page, and sometimes that makes other people crazy, so it's just, like, figuring out what you like. You can't
Yeah.
really go
I
wrong with an ink. As long
just
as
buy
you
all the inks.
don't buy a waterproof ink as your first ink. They're too high maintenance. Stay away from waterproof and oxgall inks for your first inks, or iron gall inks for your first ink.
Yeah. That's
High maintenance.
that is a solid recommendation there.
Yeah.
But yeah, ink should just make you happy. I mean, that's what it exists for.
Yep.
Um, okay, what advice do you have for someone wanting to try out a fountain pen?
Uh, make friends with somebody that has a pen collection and will let you try stuff out. It's how I
Absolutely.
got into pens, or go to a pen show. Those are really, or find a pen shop in your city. I know of very few pen shops that won't let you be hands-on with their product. Sometimes you have to make an appointment to be hands-on with product in store, but for the most part, you can just walk in and say you wanted to try out a pen and they'll let you. Or they'll have testers already out for you to try, and so I think that's a great way to try out pens in sort of a low stress setting, because pen shows can also be really chaotically busy at
That's
times.
true.
Yeah,
That's true. I think I mean, it's a good reason to take a little road trip to your nearest pen shop.
it is. If you're in Chicago
Um,
and Toronto, wonderful.
yeah.
Both great stores to visit.
What is your filling mechanism that you think is most interesting, regardless if you use it or not?
I like button fillers. I don't have one, but I think they're really cool every time I see them.
You should get one.
I
They're
should.
very fun. They're quite fun.
I don't even
What
know.
nib size? Oh, go ahead.
I said I don't even know who makes them. I just like them. They're just
Pilot makes one.
Pilot makes one. Oh, are you
Mhm.
becoming a pilot shill like Annabelle in her video?
No, you know what? I have all the brands, but my Pilot Custom 912 has the button filler, so
Okay.
just saying, you might need it. What's your nib size that you prefer to write with?
Medium or broad? I go back and forth, but I find that all the pens I reach for these days tend to be medium or broad.
Is there a style of nib that you love but you would never use?
Oh yeah, your music nib.
Yeah, it's a different writing experience.
Yeah, I love it. I think it would drive me
Yeah.
insane to actually write with it, more than I wrote with it at Chicago.
Yeah, it's just I mean, it's so individual by a writing angle.
Yeah,
Um, do you always use the same paper?
no.
Okay, so what do you use?
I use everything. Like, if a pen and ink
Okay.
combination can't write on, like, cheap sticky notes as well as, like, nice paper, it's not the right pen and ink combination for me because I need a pen that I can use on the go without having to worry about it working on nice paper.
Okay, that's fair. And your least favorite ink or ink color family?
Ballpoint blue. Like, I can't stand that color of blue ink. I've got it in a couple different samples from different brands, and it's never a color I reach for. I reach for orange more than I reach for that color of blue, and that's always surprising to me.
Interesting, especially because we started out with you have blue ink and a blue pen as your go-to,
I
but it
I
has to be the right blue.
It has to be the right blue. I love that blue ink so much that I'm looking at the 85 ml bottle of it I bought just so that I don't run out of that blue ink.
You know what? That's a good decision. That's a good life decision.
Yeah.
What does that blue look like, by the way?
Um, very pale. There we go. There's dusk and blue. It's like pale and muted.
Oh,
It goes quite nicely in that pen.
that is that is the combination.
It's the combo.
That's the go-to.
That's the go-to.
Hey,
That
and
pen has
I'm
been
a big
inking
fan.
with that color since October.
Amazing.
Yep.
I love it. That's a great pairing. Okay, here's your bonus questions because you already knew about those
I
questions.
did.
So, first bonus is I know you've been through some life stuff.
Yeah.
And how does this fountain pen hobby help you kind of celebrate the good times in life and then get through those difficult times?
I would say that it tends to be a pretty, especially with content creation as hobbies go, it tends to be a pretty low maintenance hobby in the sense
Hmm.
that in the watercolor world, when like hands are shaky and lines aren't perfect, people call that stuff out. And I find that that happens far less in the fountain pen community, which is nice in the sense that like on the days that I don't feel as well, like I can still be creative and produce things for YouTube or Instagram, knowing that people aren't going to comment on it the same way they would if I was doing a piece, which isn't quite nice.
Hmm. So basically, just being able to be creative and not and be able to do it on all the days.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Do it on like my own terms without people being nearly as judgy. Like watercolor people can be quite judgy, and I find that fountain pen people are normally less judgy.
You know what? If watercolor people are watching this, first of all, they're probably cool because they're watching a fountain pen video. So good for you. But hopefully your community gets to be nicer, which leads into the last bonus question, which is what's your favorite thing about the fountain pen community?
Ah, I like how willing people are to share information. There's a lot of gatekeeping in some hobbies, including the watercolor.
Okay.
A great example is if you compare the fountain pen Reddit and the watercolor Reddit to each other, the watercolor Reddit has almost no content on it. It's almost all the same people and almost no one's questions get answered. Whereas fountain pen Reddit is so active constantly, and it's just that people tend to share information much. People just tend to share, and there are good things and there are bad things about that. But overall, like, it means that when you're researching for a product or you're researching for a video, like, there is just so much more information out there, which can be really nice.
I agree. I feel like when I dove into the hobby, it was like information overload. It's like, let me tell you all the things. But that's kind of nice because you like also want to know all the things.
Yeah,
Um,
you wanna know all the things, like, and you wanna know, like, there are so many different channels that do pen reviews, and you wanna know who does the sort of best reviews, because there are some people that just, like, give every pen a great review, and it's like, "That's great, but that's
mhm.
not really helpful." Like, I need the nitty-gritty details of what the pen's actually like. And so I find that because the fountain pen Reddit is so active, you do get that, like, information about things that people might not like as much about pens.
Yeah, and I don't know, are there watercolor shows or anything like that or not really?
There's a big art convention every year called the North American, I think it's Arts and Crafts something. For creative content creators, it's by invite only. And so
Okay.
you have to have a fairly large following to get an invite. And then the other show is in Germany, and it is fountain pen and arts and crafts and watercolor brands, but there's no dedicated just watercolor show the way, or no dedicated watercolor show in North America. There's one in, I think there's one in Prague, but Prague's a bit far to get to, for what is basically an afternoon show. Um,
That's true.
yeah,
So, I mean, so pin shows, like, it's a lot easier in some ways maybe to connect with people in the fountain pen community?
yeah, and also meet up with people in the watercolor community that are also part of the fountain pen community. Like, there's an exchange. There's a pretty big overlap these days of people that are active in both, as artists have started to move away from using disposable mild liners or fine liners into better options. Like, that's something that I had
Mhm.
to figure out because I was going through probably a dozen a year at least. And so I needed something better, and that was just in one size, and so I'd be using various sizes, but in my most popular size, I was going through about a dozen a year. And so I think as artists, we're starting to transition to things like permanent black waterproof inks, and that's also, like, a frequent question they'll see in watercolor Facebook groups, people going, "What inks are people using in their fountain pens for line and wash work?" Because we're starting to make the transition to going back to not using fine liners constantly. And the information for artists, specifically watercolor artists, simply isn't out there because a lot of the waterproof black inks don't actually work on cotton paper. I was lucky enough to have
Mm.
a fountain pen store near me who, when I went in and I told them what I was using them for, actually went, "We don't know which ones we can actually tell you you can use on that paper because we hear from artists that these ones don't work, so we just recommend buying samples. And that's what I did, and that's how I found the Sailor Kira black ink that I use all the time. But even then, like, that doesn't work on all cotton papers. Depending on what the sizing is in the paper, it doesn't absorb in all the way, which can be really frustrating as an artist.
Yeah, so you're kind of like finding this overlap. I
Yeah,
guess I should ask you, have you tried the Preppy that has the felt tip?
I have not. I have not actually seen it
Oh,
in person.
I have one.
Okay.
So what I did, it's actually a highlighter, but you can put any cartridge in there. You
Mm,
might have fun with it.
I might have some. Well, it's
Mhm.
not by the time this goes live, it'll be public, so I can tell you, because this isn't gonna come out until Saturday. Or actually, this isn't gonna come out till next Monday.
Okay, I will say nothing.
I am on the demo list for the sidewalk sale at Atlas. I
That
am
is so exciting.
I'm teaching at least one class.
How fun!
I will be back in
That's
Chicago,
beautiful.
and this
That,
interview series will be back in person after a summer of being online, but
so, do you know when the sidewalk sale is? Because it'll be out by now.
it is the 15th and the 16th of August.
Okay.
Yeah, it is it
So if
and
the
the dates
people,
have been out for a little bit, and I believe if you look after coming soon on the website, you will see me under the list of lectures. Um, but it should officially, I believe it goes live sometime this week.
that
It's
is so exciting. You're gonna have the most fun. I'm so excited for you.
gonna be great. I'm really excited.
I'm scared for your wallet, but I'm very excited for you.
I am not as scared for my wallet as I was for Chicago. Like, honestly, when I say I'm happy with my collection, I'm happy with my collection. And so I'm not actually that concerned for my wallet. The only really, it's just Atlas Last Chance that is the only tempting thing ever to me.
The only thing you'll have to update me after
I will.
mid-August,
I will have to
and
update.
then see what has happened to the wallet there.
The fact that I'm still this will be the thing. Will I have finished posting all of my shorts from the Chicago Pen Show before the sidewalk sale? That's the question, because I still have like 12 or 13 shorts left from Chicago of pens and inks, and it's June.
You're a content creation queen. I really don't know how you did it, but you did it.
I did
It
it.
was impressive. I'm
I
so
did.
impressed.
And then I died in bed for 10 days, and now we're in June and I'm still posting Chicago content.
You know, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you know what? The fountain pen community needs all the information. And watercolor community. You're just providing the information. You're
and
like, here
and all the
is
pretty
everything you need to know about everything beautiful and wonderful.
and all the pretty
And
colors.
your pretty new desk setup. You're set.
I am. It's very
It's
pretty. I
beautiful.
actually saved a spot for the laptop to go so that I can actually work at my desk, which I've never had the ability.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
So, thank you.
You did it.
I did
You
it.
have been officially interviewed.
I've
I
officially
don't think you're the shortest one. Were
I
you the shortest one? I don't think so.
I was going to have to be so fast to beat Cheryl Ball from Rickshaw. She did it in less than 3 minutes, including my introduction and the music off the top of my intro that goes before a video. Hers is still less than 3 minutes. There was no way I was beating that.
There's no way. I think we spent 3 minutes on some of those questions, but they were like, I had to throw in some deep questions at the end. I think it is so cool that this hobby has introduced me to so many people I would literally never meet in life, like other than this, including you.
Yeah, No, I think this hobby for, like, introducing people from various backgrounds is so cool, and I always think it's interesting, like, when I get to either work on, like, cooperative projects with people or meet people at shows and go, "Oh, like, I know you from a screen, but, like or via text, but, like, actually having a conversation with you is such a different thing."
It's so cool. It's like when, I think it was Stationary Universe, like, had a
Yeah.
little thing, and she's like, send me your address if you want free stickers," or something like that. So I did it, and then I just meet her in real life, and then I'm buying her stuff at the pin show. It was so fun.
So
It's so cool.
she went, "You should follow me." At the show, I, like, had a conversation with her, and she went, "You should follow me so I can follow you," and I went to follow her, and I went, "You've been following me since 2019." And it was like, "You have been following me since the baby days of my account, when it was a bullet journaling account, and then a hand lettering account, and then a watercolor account. Like, you've been there for it all." Like,
That is so cool. That is really cool.
like, it was just one of those insane moments of going, "Oh, like, there are people that I'm meeting here that have seen the whole progression from bald me who literally started my account as I was learning how to write my name again with a brain injury because I had lost the ability to write, to someone who now
Wow.
does this." And it's like, "How did we get here?"
And the great thing is you are, with what you've been through, the tiny bit that I know of what you've been through, you're just so positive, and you kept your, I feel like this, like, creative outlet brings you so much joy. Am I wrong? Like,
It does
I
bring me
think it's more than just a hobby.
it is. The funniest thing is that I failed art in high school. I got a 49%. I failed art in high school. I took dance because I failed visual arts. I took dance and music, and, I've just gotten the 9-minute warning on Zoom. Apparently, we've been talking for nearly an hour.
You're gonna have fun editing this one, or just throw it out there as,
Just
whatever
throw
you
it
wanna
out
do.
there. I was planning on not editing them a bunch, and so I might just throw it out there. I might just throw out, 45 minutes uncut with the 2 of us.
Yes, listen to us ramble incessantly about all the things.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. So, by the time this goes up, the sidewalk sale stuff will be live. If it fills up, I may get a second session. So, it's capped at
Okay, okay.
I think it's capped at 15 right now, um, for my session, because any more than that felt like a bit too much to handle with a brain injury, honestly, and it's gonna be great. Mom and I are
It's
trying
gonna
to
be
get
great.
through it.
Congratulations. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. It's like a
Look,
10-hour
you know
drive
what?
from here.
If your art teacher who failed you is watching this, are they invited to teach an art class in Chicago? I don't think so. So there.
Yeah.
We love teachers. I'm a teacher, okay? We love
No,
teachers, but also
my best friend's mom is a teacher, mom was briefly a teacher, like, we love teachers. It's just the
we do.
funniest thing is that I failed art in high school, and now what I do.
Full circle. You're
Full
right back.
full circle. Yeah, I failed.
Oh my gosh, this is the most fun. Thank you for letting me interview you.
You're welcome. I'm sure I'll find some reason to have you on the channel again at some point. People seem to enjoy your interview, so there'll be another reason.
Why?
I don't know. It was fun to watch. We had a great
It
time. We
was, it was,
clearly
it
the 2
was so fun.
had a great time together, honestly. So,
You do.
yeah. So, we'll
You're
do
just my neighbor to the north.
yeah,
We'll figure things out. We'll make some things happen.
We'll figure out how to do an overhead camera while we do it on a second. Oh, I guess I could have zoomed in my phone as well, and then I could have like we could be talking and I could be painting.
I wish I was set up, except for I'm a teacher with a document camera at home. So yes, I'm prepared.
Mm, next time,
Mhm. Next time.
do something like that. That'll be fun. All right. Well, thank you for
It'll be great.
interviewing me for 20 questions and the ramble afterwards.
Absolutely. It's been so fun.
Has been.
Bye, friend.
Bye.